Well, welcome. First, let me say this is the Humanity as Organism Thrives Convergence Room in Peace Week, and I am blessed to be responsible for stewarding this convergence room with Dr. Tom Ackland, and it's just so great to be co-creating this together. And we are stepping into sacred youth empowerment. So this is a wonderful discussion. When we were discussing Humanity as Organism Thrives, we decided that why not bring the young people into it? So for those of you who might not know, my sister Shamima, who's at the top there, Shamima wave, we founded an organization called Leave No Girl Behind International that empowers girls worldwide through leadership programs. Sonia Raghuber and Danielle Paulsen have both been graduates of the Leave No Girl Behind International leadership program, and they've belonged to one of our other programs, Power Circles, as well, and they just continue to contribute. So these are amazing young people, and we do want to add the voices of so many other young people to discussions like these. I'm just going to throw out a question and introduce each of them. So if you'll just bear with me. And Danielle, you finished school. My goodness, it's almost a year ago. It's unreal. But what I'd like to say is that you've brought everything that you've learned, you brought it into your life and you've applied it. And I'll just tell everyone a little bit about you. So Danielle is a first-year university student currently studying financial accounting. She's been the 2021 Leave No Girl Behind International Ambassador, and women's empowerment is in her blood. Her deep calling to empower girls began in 2017 as a teen girl herself. To empower her mind and broaden her perspective, she attended multiple leadership and personal development training initiatives, and she's also been a speaker on international platforms, sharing her wisdom. And another fact about Dani, since becoming a driver, she believes in having a clean car to start off the week right.
That's an adult thing, I think.
And before we go into the discussion, I am going to introduce Sonia. Sonia is an artist and a dancer. She indulges mostly in dancing, drawing, reading, creative writing, motivational speaking, and anything involving cultural heritage. Some social change work she takes part of is through the Leave No Girl Behind International Power Circle, and as I said, our School of Leadership, as well as her local residents' youth forum. Now, Sonia is very proud of many achievements. Being able to read at 1.5 years of age is one of them. Her first motivational address to a live audience when she was 7. In fact, it was at a Leave No Girl Behind International empowerment event. Having read the most books in her school when she was only in 2nd grade, 756 books. She's been selected as the best modern Eastern dancer in her district in 2017. And she's the youngest graduate of the LNGBI School of Leadership. She also engages in multiple forms of art, like performance art, where she paints while dancing, as well as engaging in digital art. So welcome. The two of you are absolutely amazing. And let's launch right into the discussion. And we're just going to have this as a free discussion, and if anyone who's attending wants to ask a question, please just type it into the chat or raise your hand. But the first thing to start off with is, what do you feel that young people need in our world? So we'll start off with Danielle. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so if the first thing that came to my mind when you asked that question is the courage to be themselves. Because if you have the courage to be yourself, and especially in my generation, it's very difficult. I've seen it with friends, I've seen it with acquaintances. They grow up in the society where they have to be and look and think and speak and do all those things in a specific way. But if they are able to be themselves, they add value to, how can I say, their own unique value to my generation. And if everybody can add that value, somebody's going to learn off it, use it as a building block, and then carry on as, as we get bigger as a generation, if I can put it like that. So if that's one thing that I just wish they could have, that mindset and that courage to say, you know what, I'm going to try and be something different. I'm going to try and, add value to the society that has never been added before. And it's also another thing is mindset. I feel a lot of girls my age, or maybe just general young adults my age, ranging maybe from 19 to, I don't know, 25, 27, they don't want to work on their mindset. And I don't know why they don't want to work on their mindset. It actually boggles my mind as to why they don't want to work on their mindset. Because your mindset makes up everything you are as a person. It contributes a lot to who you are as a person. And you can do a lot of things if you put your mind to it. So that's my opinion on it. Yeah.
Sonia, thoughts?
I had also prepared on courage. In fact, I'm not sure if you can see it, but I put it on my wall.
Yeah.
Wait, let me try and tilt the camera.
Oh, right.
Oh, there's it. Okay, there's it.
Yeah. So I've had courage because I completely agree with Danielle. I mean, there's so many kids our age who are capable of such amazing things, and the first thing that comes into their mind is, no, but what will people say? Or, no, I'm scared. But why is there that fear? Like, we live in a kind of world where we can tell people what to do, and they can tune out if they wish to. And I feel like not enough of the youth knows that in order to kind of reach higher goals. So there's some kids with the most amazing ideas, the most amazing mentality, and then they're just too scared to reach out and say, hey, you know what, but what if we tried this? Wouldn't this benefit people as opposed to this? So courage is definitely one of them. And the other thing is belief. And this just isn't belief as in faith or from a religious perspective. It's from the perspective of, I believe that I can do it. You know the saying, seeing is believing, right? Obviously, you can believe something, but if you don't do something about it, no one's going to see it. And if people don't see it, they won't know about it. And the other thing is being a game changer. We live in an overpopulated world, and in order to be recognized, we need to make sure that people look at us and say, okay, this is who she is. This is what she brings to the table. Why is she doing this? Where is she coming from? We can't expect people to see like, no, this is the amount of potential that we have. We live in a society where everything's moving so quickly, and if you don't meet the requirements, you're out. So those are the three things that I believe are of utmost importance in order to bring about youth empowerment. Back to you, Danny.
I definitely agree with you, Sonia, especially with the belief part and thinking about, oh, what will people say? You know, that's definitely something that I've come across even now when I was your age. You know, everybody they would be too shy, you know, it would be like a touch and go type of thing, you know, but what if, but maybe, but what if, but maybe, you know, it was that type of thing. And you know what, Hasina, if we want to see change in, especially mine and Sonia's generation, it starts with me. It starts with you. I cannot force you to think in a specific manner. It's a concept of, do you want to, and will you carry on that path? You see, with me and Sonia, we wanted to, and we carried on. We didn't get to a point and we said, okay, you know what? I'm perfect. I'm ready for the world. Let's go. No, we just kept on going and said, listen, what if we explore this potential? What if we try and, you know, see who we are as people? You know, if I think about when I do introspection, my waters run very deep. There's no point where I get to, oh, okay, this is now the end point. No, but it starts, if I think there's a quote, I think it's by Mahatma Gandhi, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. And I love that quote because it is so true. If you want to see more kindness in the world, what are you going to do to be kind today? Are you going to smile at the cashier at Checkers? Are you going to go greet your neighbor and see how she is, or even water her plants like I was doing just now? I was watering her garden for her. So, so just try and be that change, but you need to make a conscious decision. If you don't make a conscious decision, you will never be able to reach that full potential of being your higher self. Back to you, Sonia.
Well,
I really like the what if part.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Sonia.
No, go ahead, Hasina.
I'm saying, wait. We have so many questions for you. Charm, what are your thoughts on this?
Sorry about that. You're both brilliant. Thank you. I'm my thoughts as an old not girl. I'm curious to know what was the awakening for you? I mean, I think both of you were probably extraordinary even before you walked into Leave No Girl Behind. But if you could wave a magic wand, and was there a special message that you wish everybody could hear to feel the kind of bright light that you feel, right? Anything in your work or in the
do you have something in mind?
Curriculum?
Yes, I do, but you can go, Sonia, if you want to.
Okay, so for me, if I could wave that magic wand and have everyone listen to this, it would probably be, stop listening to other people. They do not pay your bills. What other people think of you is none of your business.
Brilliant.
I agree. And if I could say one thing, it definitely comes to that awakening for me was self-acceptance of accepting that I'm different. I cannot be somebody else. And the day I decided to say, okay, who is Danielle? This is Danielle. Are we going to be courageous enough to be Danielle? And I said, yes, because it takes a lot more work to be someone else. And why would I want to be someone else when I can just be me? And with me deciding to just be me, that's that unique factor coming in and adding it to the world. And it's made a difference. I've seen it. It's made difference in people's lives. So why not? You know, so it was just that factor of saying, you know what, I accept who I am. And every day I'm going to work on loving myself and just being myself, because I know it has value. I just know in my heart it has value. Yeah.
It's a beautiful and generous way to be. And in the wake of your comments about be the change, we really want other people like that around us, right? Like who wouldn't want to be around you guys? Yes. And so if we if we can be that, it's almost I don't want to paint it as a social responsibility because it's true, just like I would say what other people think of us is none of our business, as Sonia said, right? I don't have a right to call it demand some behavior of somebody else, right? But I can be contagious. And if I want people to be like that, then it's almost a social responsibility for me. And on the heels of this brilliant conversation that Annie Spade led just previous to this session, that it's being part of an evolutionary creature, right? You're bringing your very highest and best self, your brightest light to this organism called humanity, and also inspiring other people to do the same so that I can be part of the next version of humanity, right? And I don't want to be part of yesterday's version. I want to be part of tomorrow's version, like that. I mean, does that light up thoughts? Or Sonia, can you paint a picture of that?
I could try. So before we go there, I just want to talk about the fact that Danielle talked about chance and the what ifs. And in art this term, we actually touched on Dadaism, where one of the artists, Jean Arp, he was dissatisfied with an artwork. So he chopped up his artwork and he just threw the pages on the floor. And he liked the way that those torn up pages were on the floor. So he stuck them exactly where they fell. And he did that to so many other artworks, and he became one of the most revolutionary people in the world just by playing on that what if. They call it the art of chance. I don't know where that paper is going to land, but I know I'm going to be happy with the result because at least I tried something. So I think we really need to start taking chances.
Yeah, like if I think of that, if I can like add a quote to that, it would be, I don't know if I remember correctly, but the regret of not trying is much more than the regret of not trying. So that makes sense? Yeah, that does. So I definitely agree with you, Sonia. You know what? If I never took that leap of faith of believing in myself and, just stepping out of that comfort zone, who knows where I would have been? Maybe I wouldn't have been like that. And it's just why not? It's that concept of why can't I just take that leap of faith? You don't know what's going to happen, but because you're human, you expect the worst to happen. It's just maybe it's just a human thing. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's that doubt factor in your head. But if you really think about it nicely and logically, if you take a calculated risk, the outcome can either be 50 good or 50 bad. So you can just try, see where it goes, because I can guarantee you it will teach you something. No matter what it is, it will teach you something about yourself, about the world, about the situation, whatever it is. Yeah.
I love that wisdom from both of you. And Danielle, I just want to, because as you were talking, I thought about what you said about why you joined power circles in grade 8. And there were a lot of adults in this room. So I'd just like you to quickly share what your mom said.
Okay, so in grade 8, I battled a lot with confidence. I battled a lot with self-acceptance. My mom, my mom is my mom. She could see that I was struggling with these aspects of my life. And she just said to me, listen, go and try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to go back. And that was my why. She was my why as to why I tried it. And look where I am today. So in that aspect, it was 50% it could work or 50% it couldn't work. But your response was, the response was in my hands. I could either carry on or I could either go back. So when we go into situations like that, Hasina, a lot of people think they don't have a say for some reason. Like they can't retract and pull back and say, you know what, at least I tried. I'm proud of myself for being courageous enough to try. I just want people to understand that, listen, you have a voice, you have reasons, and everybody's reasons, emotions are all valid. There's no reasons, no emotions that are not valid. So just try. And that's what happened to me. And look now, I'm really happy I carried on and I took that what if, because it paid off, and they usually do.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I just wanted you to share that because there's so many people in this room with children, particularly girls. And since we are discussing girls, you're both girls, and it's such a great idea that you know, children may be open to those suggestions that, you know, why don't you just try that? And a lot of times I find that they're asking for, well, show me something that could help. And often we underestimate how much they are asking for help. So Shamima has a question. Shamima?
Let me ask you guys this, with the concept of Peace Week, and you guys, your generation is inheriting the world we have right now. So what does peace mean to you in terms of the world, in terms of creating peace, and where does it start for you? How do you see your generation moving that forward?
Go, Sonia, I know you want to talk. Go. I can see it.
Okay, so for me, peace is working together. It's not necessarily agreeing with everything that everyone has to say. It's just a matter of putting all your differences aside and working together. It's overlooking race, overlooking gender, overlooking all the things that make us different from everyone else. Because at the end of the day, we're human. And as humans, we need to work together to survive. For me, wars are the most senseless things that could possibly happen because it's a person fighting another person, harming another family, causing unnecessary destruction and costs, and all of these things where it could be solved by sitting down at a table and saying, here's my side of the story. Let me listen to yours. Okay, what conclusion can we derive from that, you know? So peace is working together.
Wow.
Danny, you?
I agree with you, Sonia. Full-heartedly, I agree with you. But what I'd like to add to that is that if we all as humans can put the spotlight on ourselves instead of putting the spotlight on every single other person, trying to find their flaws and their strengths and what they have that you don't have. As when you immediately turn that spotlight onto you and you are focused on you, for me, I feel like everything else just falls in place, if that makes sense, where you are content with yourself. Now, like Sonia said, you are able to work with another person, no matter who they are, and not see them either as a threat or jealousy, or they have something, a quality that I don't have. So that's basically how I feel that peace will overcome, where we just accept who we are as people. And once you do that, you will never look for your how can I say, your qualities and your talents in someone else when you know you've already got it within you. That's how I would, yeah.
Such brilliance. Tama, I can see you want to say something.
I don't think I have words for it. It is brilliant, and it is it's invigorating. It's youthening. I can hear the self-respect, and I think that's one thing that's missing. It was not given to us in traditional education. And it's actually, I can hear a very fresh narrative that is about to replace what our global narratives of conflict, let's call them that way, and it really is a to thine own self be true, me first, me take care of me. And I love your language about not having to fit in, and it's not just self-respect. It feels like there's something, I just keep coming back to the word contagious, something contagious about people who know that nobody is not welcome at the dinner table, put it that way. Right? Like everybody's welcome, everybody's here. And not only is everybody welcome, but we need you. We need your voice. We're hungry for your voice. And I talk a lot about a wide variety of food. We need a wide variety of spirit and people and personalities. And that's the collective, right?
Yeah. So let's take this to a practical level. Sonia, Danielle, you're speaking about peace, working together, and finding the peace within yourself without looking to how others see things, except if it's in collaboration with them, but not looking at, oh, that person sees something like this, and just knowing who you are, like Tom said, to thine own self be true. So how do we do this on a practical level? For instance, Sonia, you're at school, Danielle, first year university. How do you bring that to your everyday?
Well, at school, especially. Oh, sorry, Danielle.
No, sorry, Sonia, go. Don't worry, go. You
No,
can
no,
go.
no, you go.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
So a very practical way for me, Hasina, because I'm an extrovert, and then another thing that popped in my mind, what about introverts? But I'm going to talk about me as an extrovert. We'll get to the introverts another time. So with me as an extrovert, it is very easy for me to approach people and to talk to people and to just, say, hi, how are you? How was your day? Just that little bit of kindness. So for me, in a very practical, everyday thing, and it's integrated in my personality, my daily routine, everything, it's just being kind, and just not being afraid to be myself. Because if you can walk out there and I remember I spoke to you about energy, right? People feel your energy, so I believe that. I believe people feel your energy. People will feel if you're confident. People will feel if you're anxious, if you're nervous, whatever is going on with you. So if you radiate that energy, and it's like radiating off of you, it's like moving away from you, people pick it up. So and that's one thing I never realized when I was in school at Sonia's age. I didn't realize that I was radiating such energy, and only now I'm realizing, as people are talking to me, that listen, we picked up on it, and you were our green flag, or the green robot, to say, hey, if she can do it, I can also do it. It's not that hard. So yeah, Sonia, you can add on to that. That's how I see it.
For me, especially at school, they always give us group projects. And since it's high school, we don't always get to choose our partners anymore, because they always tell us, like, in the working field, you don't get to choose with who you work. You're just given random people who are fit for the job, and you got to make a plan. And I never liked that, because I've always seen myself as a leader. Like, I want to be in charge because I know this is the right thing to do. I don't want someone who doesn't know what exactly they want. They just want to be the leader of the points and such. But I realized, you know what? school is just part of it. And yes, some other people might not have the best ideas, but working together and hearing them out is what brings them there. And I realized that only in grade 8, where our drama teacher, she would always say, okay, if there's any learners who are in the group and who are not doing their work, please report them to me. And then she added on, and if there are any learners who try and take over everything, please also report them to me. And it was kind of then that I realized, oh, I can be a bit bossy. So let me take a seat back. I'll speak up. I'm not going to hold back in what I say. However, I will be nice about it. And I'll always make sure that I'm listening, because if you have your one ear open, you'll find these perspectives that you didn't even know existed. And you'll learn how to work with people. And eventually you learn that if it's not working out for you, it's okay to sit back and say, listen, I'm out. I can't do this. Because also at that age, I was kind of a people pleaser. And I felt like, oh no, if I don't do this, I'm going to be kind of like an outcast, or people won't be happy with me. And then there was that realization that, okay, people want to work with me, yes, and some people don't. So along with being kind, it's also realizing that the world doesn't revolve around you, but it doesn't revolve around other people either. It's working together. It's building that trust, that connection, that peace. And that's how we grow as a community, as a generation, as the youth of today.
Oh, wow. Yes. And I want to ask this question because I know that we'll have Q&A with everyone being able to ask their questions if they want to. But this is such an important question. What can we as your stakeholders, as adults, so all the stakeholders in your education, being the village that raises you in some way, what can we adults give to your generation to facilitate what you're talking about, the peace and being who you are, to thine own self being true, and what is missing from the adults leading you? And you can say it. We need to know this.
Okay, so what I found whenever I do online courses and I attend workshops and stuff is that this generation lacks confidence. We will be talking with our friends and everyone's like, no guys, we are truly messed up, and this is going to be the end of the world. I mean, think about it. We don't know how to do all these things. And then when I'm in the workshop with adults, they're all like, no, I have so much of faith in your generation and the things that you guys bring to the table at this age. We didn't even think about that when we were your age. So I think it's a matter of adults putting their voice out there that we believe in you. You can do so much. You're already doing so much. Your mere existence brings so much to the table already. I feel like our youth can be a bit ignorant. So often when adults are talking, they tend to not listen. But if adults speak to them directly and say, hey, listen, I see your potential. I heard you speak up during that session, and I think that if you do this, this, and this with me, or if you need my guidance regarding this, you can grow to be so much more. So it's all about building confidence, and I feel like adults play a huge role because kids don't necessarily want to listen to their peers. As much as there's a lot of peer pressure, there's also that whole thing of, you're my age, why should I listen to you? Whereas if an adult has to tell you, you'd be more likely to listen.
And I don't know, Sonia, I don't know with you if you've also or if you think the same way, is that concept of support from adults. That concept of support is also very, very, very important. If you know somebody supports you and somebody believes in you, it goes a long way. You know, a lot of people don't think it goes a long way. I'm sure myself and Sonia have a lot of people who were supporting us before we even got to these stages in our lives and evolved like this. And am I right, Sonia? It went a long way. It you know, it was from people who we loved. And it's just that I think a lot of adults are and some I've spoken to, you know, if because they didn't have it, why must they carry it forward? Do you understand that horrible concept, or that I don't like that mindset. Personally, in my opinion, I don't like it. Why not change the story and be like, okay, because I never had it, I'm going to start here right now and be the person who created it so it can carry on going forward. So Hasina, it's just more, how can I say it? Like Sonia said, have more adult voices tell us as the next generation to take on this world, to say, listen, this is what we think of you, and this is what maybe you can polish up in a few areas, because it helps a lot. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, your perspective on what they've just said, as someone who's doing youth empowerment projects as well with your farm to table projects, what are your thoughts?
I think there's an unspoken mistrust, and appropriate. Our current 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old generation, without malevolent, without meaning any kind of ill will, to really drop the ball. We didn't do the kinds of things that you both are speaking about, which is faith in self, right? We gave over, I think we gave away personal sovereignty conversations to institutional wisdom, and we became homogenized, and the kinds of individual flavor that really do make up, you know, a beautiful mosaic of life. We gave that away, and then all of a sudden there wasn't a good party. There wasn't a good cocktail party anymore on the planet, right? Everybody was trying to do the same thing, reach for the same goals, behave in the same way, be politically correct in the same way, and we gave away a lot of attention. So all of that kind of as background to say that it feels to me as if it's the other way around. That we, my hope for my generation is that we listen to you, and we listen more clearly to ourselves when we speak in private, right? The kinds of things that we say to ourselves, and that came from a conversation that I moderated as well with, I was surprised to hear one young guy, 20 years old, 21 years old, suggest that everybody has just as much as we have constructive ideas. Everybody's got a voice for something that could change the planet. We have destructive ideas as well. And he was suggesting that it's incredibly healthy to get in touch with those destructive ideas, and that also is very hopefully it's refreshing that people are speaking what we would consider negative things that you might not say out loud about yourself. People are now feeling free. The younger people are now feeling free to say those things. Right. And I think that's hugely beneficial to us being able to break free of this bondage of homogeneity. Maybe that's a little wordy. Let's let Nancy speak, and then I'll pass the microphone.
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm 73, and I hear exactly what you're saying, and hope this will educate you. First of all, the younger generation, the way you're speaking is very powerful, very healthy, and we adults need to listen more to you. We grew up under some old religious beliefs of the 10 Commandments, number 5, which my mother kept saying, remember number 5, honor your parents, honor your mother and father. Well, why do we have to honor elderly people or older parents if they're physically, verbally, or sexually inappropriate? Why? And the other thing I kept asking my mom was, what about the 11th commandment, Mom? Honor your children. That's what we need. And another thing was, we had Miss America contests back then in the 50s and 60s. So the thinking was, you're perfect the way you are. It really was. That's how it was in our household. You're perfect. And gee, if only this little teeny weeny piece of hair was cut. If only the hem of your skirt was raised 3/4 of an inch, you'd be perfect. Then you wouldn't be Miss America runner-up. You'd be Miss America. So everything was, you're already perfect. And if only you do this one more little thing, you'd be perfectly perfect. There was a huge pressure on everybody to be perfectly perfect, and it was impossible. So, people then beat themselves up, and we didn't have that concept of building yourself up, because once again, the sacred texts would teach us, serve others, serve others, serve others. That's what Jesus did, served others. But he had to serve himself before he could serve others. He had to go pray by himself and then realize, okay, now I'm ready to take this out to the world. And we were not taught that. Everything is about, we're retraining the brain. I am important. I can take a stand. I don't have to protect and defend myself anymore. That's old paradigm. My generation, like the 40s to on up, we have to retrain our brain, rewire the mind. And I don't want to pass on any of the stuff, the old patterns, that we learned. Though our word is good. That's a good one to always hold on to. But even that can get stretched. Everybody in our generation did things to protect and defend themselves so they would not be hit, so they would not be put down. They'd be quiet. Children should be quiet and not seen. So we didn't even learn to express ourselves. And that was just, quote, normal society rules that we were expected to obey. It wasn't like forced on us. It wasn't like we were punished. It was just known, the adults, you respect your elders, period.
Mhm.
And if we say go to bed at 2 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon or 12 noon, you obey. You don't question authority. You don't question your president. You don't question anything. You don't question your doctors. They had 7 years of medical school and they know. Well, not true anymore. I find out more about health through YouTube. That's my Bible, the YouTube, and what other people have expressed, or I have to do my own research. The self-love concept was considered selfish. And if you could get your head big and swelled and not be humble, everything was like misinterpreted, and it has to all be reinterpreted in a new way of being kind and loving and listening. We didn't have listening. We were just told, just like Dr. Tom said. So thank you for letting me share.
Well, Nancy, that is, it's so valuable though, because I feel like here we are 3 generations. People discussing
Right.
the young generation. I'm in my 40s. And here you are you said you're in your 70s, so that is just so powerful to share, and I think it really lends itself to how do we all work together. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, one thing you can do when people get, quote, angry, which is really they're not being calm, in like a my mother would actually say in a sing-songy voice, simmer down, calm down. You know, you guys can say, chill out, you know, watch your P's and Q's. Say it in a sing-songy way. That we were taught you either have to be shut up and don't talk and don't get what you want. If you express yourself, you may not get what you want either. It was like a no-win situation.
Yeah.
It was awful. You know, I didn't even think about my future. I knew I wanted to be a biologist, which I did become. And now that I'm retired, I actually have I don't want to call it brain fog. That would just create more brain fog. I have not been clear. I have to ask myself every moment, what is it I want right now? What will serve me the most right now? What will make me have more fun and be simple and easy right now? What is my bigger goal? And is what I'm doing right now taking a baby step or a jump or a leap towards my goal? But gee, what is my goal? See, our generation doesn't have set goals. We had a 9-to-5 job and then you just play. Now that I can play, I have to ask myself, where do I want to play to make a contribution? That's a tough question. You younger people probably, I don't know, maybe you are not taught that and geared towards that and focused on that. What do I want to do when I grow up? What do I want to do now? What do I want to do when I get off this webinar? How can I make everything more simple?
That's a valuable point. And I know we could discuss this so much, and I know we have to close just now. So, but Nancy, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's been very valuable. Thank you. Okay, and I think right now I just want to quickly share because Shamima, those of you who came in later, Sonia and Danny have, we got to know them through the Leave No Girl Behind International programs. That's an organization, a nonprofit my sister Shamima and I started. We're actually going to be launching a new program called Teen Synergy, which is about support, sisterhood, and self-worth. And it's also going to be life coaching and life learning for teens. So we're very excited about that. But I don't want to go into that right now. If you're interested in that for your kids or your grandkids, your granddaughters, this is actually a program for girls, because girls need a certain empowerment in a space for just them to be able to discuss things that are pertinent to them. So if you're interested at all, just put your email in the chat, and when we're getting ready for the launch, then we will email you. And Shamima, you can put the Teen Synergy link in the chat as well if they're interested. So I think if let me just look at the time before we close. Let's just ask these amazing young people, Sonia and Danielle, that what is your message to the world if you were holding a mic and or megaphone and you had the ear of 2 million people? What is your message to the world? Okay, one of you, Sonia, or are you still thinking?
Okay, I can go because I know mine. if I was in that position, I would say, don't let fear overtake your life, because I can tell you now, fear kills many more dreams and hope than anything else. And just think about it nicely as to why you are fearful. If it is something that you need to go do introspection about, if it is something that you know off the bat why you are fearful, please go to that point and go and investigate it. Go find out why it's there. Try and heal from it. Because live a life without fear, because you will grow so much more if you, like myself and Sonia spoke about, if you are courageous, you really do grow. All of these cliches of being courageous and being brave and confident, they work. That's why they are cliches. That's why myself and Sonia keep on repeating it, because that's what worked for us. It's general basic things to build a sturdy foundation that you can implement in your life. And as you implement it into your life, you implement it to your suiting. So it's building blocks, and then you can say, okay, with confidence I can do A, B, C, and it works for me. Because I have confidence, it kind of eliminates fear a little bit. It kind of puts that fear down and say, you know what, I can do this. I'm my own cheerleader. I can do this. So if that's one thing I would say, it would be that. Don't let fear overtake your life. It's not worth it.
Danielle, I'd just like to recommend that what you just said actually is repeating an older generation pattern. All this fear, 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 more fear, less fear. It's all focusing on fear. That is not how I grew up. That is how the Easterners came over and kept introducing love and fear. No, our country totally went into fear with that introduction of that word. The simple solution is ask yourself, okay, if I have a fear of speaking in front of a group, a fear of getting in an elevator, a fear of bugs or insects or something, what's the opposite word in the dictionary? And there's one word, there's only one word, and we don't talk enough about it. It's called safety. We all want to be safe if we get into the elevator. We want to be safe around that bug. We want to be safe around that person. So the question to ask is, when you start shaking and sweating and you want to label it fear, retranslate it, reinterpret it, reframe it, rename it, relabel it. Whoa, my body's shaking right now. I am totally, extremely not feeling safe. I'm unsafe right now. I need much more safety right now. What do I have to do to become more safe so I can go in the elevator, so I can go on the stage and so I can be prepared for that test, so I can be around those insects? Do you see the shift of energy?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, take the F word out of your vocabulary and substitute a prefix before the positive. You're not safe, you're unsafe. You want to be more safe. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Sonia, your message to the world. I think you heard the questions, so I'm so glad you're back.
So it's just my message to the world.
Oh, your message to the world. If you had a megaphone and you could speak, you had the ear of 2 million people, what would you say? I know we've got about a minute or so, so what would you say?
Okay, I would definitely tell people to just be themselves. Stop living up to society's expectations, stop living up to their peers' expectations. Simply find themselves. If it takes a million years, let it take a million years. Just do things at your own pace, but be yourself. Stop listening to other people.
Oh, that is brilliant. Tom, let's end with your voice.
You both are so courageous and brilliant, and what a gift. Thank you. Faith that you in a lot of traditions, the countermeasure for fear is faith. And probably a brilliant transition, since Dr. Henrietta is coming up here, and we're going to start talking about how do you walk in these places of courage, right? How do you walk in these places of transition? And I think that's really the essence of what convergence is. We've had so many brilliant speakers this morning talking about humanity as organism, and how each of us living on that edge of chaos and that edge of discomfort really is a gift. And you both, Danielle and Sonia, have done that so brilliantly. And Hasina and Shamima, thank you for your Leave No Girl Behind work and having that platform in the first place. But really, you're walking testimonies for what it looks like to take on life. And life's not easy or safe or fun sometimes, right? It's supposed to be challenging. And that's our playground. Put it that way. God bless the playground. God bless you for being on the playground.
And again, I'd like to recommend